California sells dreams, golden beaches, high-paying tech jobs, perfect light bouncing off palm leaves. But behind the postcard lies the version no one advertises. The rent that evaporates your paycheck, the smoke that closes your lungs, the silence after calling 911 and no one shows up. This video doesn't exist to shame cities. It exists to show the real texture of life inside them. The side tourists never see. These are the 10 worst towns to live in. California in 2025, places where beauty and danger share the same streets, and where the cost of living is measured in more than money. Number 10, Redding. Redding once felt like the northern gateway to untouched. Wilderness, pine silhouettes, river water flickering like broken glass, evenings as calm as a postcard. But its greatest blessing has turned into its biggest threat. Every summer the sky folds into a thick bronze curtain. Smoke drifts in from all sides, settling into the valley like it paid rent. Locals don't check the weather. They check the AQI. Green day feels like a holiday. A red day feels like punishment. Wildfire season doesn't just bring heat. It brings strange rules. People stop walking after dusk. Not because of crime, but because the air outside tastes metallic. Yes, the rent looks affordable at around $1,500. But the hidden costs hit harder. Air purifiers running non-stop. Sealed windows turning homes into ovens. Inhalers refilled like groceries. Redding has become a city where the safest place is indoors, and where survival depends on which direction the wind decides to blow. Would you accept cheap rent if every breath feels borrowed? Number 9, Merced. From afar, Merced feels peaceful. Flat farmland stretching for miles. Orchards whispering in the morning breeze. A young university bringing promise. But the moment fall semester begins, everything shifts. The town turns into a musical chairs game for housing. One-bedrooms touch $2,000. Students cram 3 or 4 into a single space. Families compete with college kids for the same listings. Entire living rooms get converted into temporary bedrooms with curtain walls. Merced's crime isn't violent. It's chaotic. More thefts around student housing. More noise at absurd hours. More arguments over parking than anyone admits. Homelessness reports say things improved. But the parking lots around UC Merced tell the real story. Fogged car windows. Students sleeping inside because their lease hasn't started or because rent swallowed their budget whole. Merced is the strange place where strawberries cost $1, but surviving the semester costs your sanity. Is saving on tuition worth living in a 4-person shared shoebox? Number 8, Modesto. Modesto looks ordinary during the day, pickup trucks, warehouses, farms, and long straight roads leading nowhere. But at night, the entire city changes frequency. The same streets that host farmers and workers in daylight become quiet, wide and unsettling after sunset. Sirens echo far more often than laughter. In early 2025, shootings spiked enough that residents stopped calling them incidents and started calling them another night. People wake up and check their cars the way others check text messages. Rent averages around $1,850, but the safety add-ons multiply. $50 for brighter porch lights, hundreds for private parking, dashboard cameras sold in grocery stores. Security here isn't peace, it's maintenance. Modesto is a place where you don't fear losing your wallet. You fear losing your car. And still neighbors walk in groups, whistles on necks, refusing to surrender their streets. Cheap rent comes with expensive vigilance. Number 7, Stockton. Stockton is trying. For the first time in years, car break-ins began dropping in the data. Headlines called it a comeback. But the nerves of the people tell a different story. Drivers still lock their steering wheels with bright yellow bars. Residents still glance outside every hour. The fear hasn't caught up to the statistics yet. Rent, around $1,945, feels overpriced when you factor in the cost of trying to stay safe. Losing a car here can ruin someone's entire livelihood, especially for workers earning barely above $50,000. Night shift workers choose apartments based on how well they can see their parking spot from the kitchen window. Stockton feels like a recovering patient. Better numbers, wounded spirit, cautious optimism. The question isn't, is it safe again? It's, do people believe it yet? Number 6, Vallejo. Vallejo sparkles from a distance. Boats rocking in the marina. Blue water stretching toward the bay. Homes perched on hillsides. But residents know a darker truth. A police shortage that never quite healed. In 2025, crime rates dipped slightly, but response times didn't. Many locals don't call 911 unless it's life or death because help might not arrive quickly. Businesses buy cameras instead of advertisements. Shops close early not from fear of crime, But fear of waiting. Rent sits around $22.50. You pay premium pricing for self-reliance. Vallejo feels like a ship still floating, but with too few people on deck. Would you live somewhere beautiful if you weren't sure help could reach you? Number 5, Richmond. Richmond glows gold in the right sunlight. Ferries sliding across the bay, hills catching morning mist. But the skyline hides a giant. The Chevron refinery. When it flares, the sky turns orange. Phones buzz with alerts, stay inside. Avoid outdoor activity. Schools delay recess. Parents tape up windows. Purifiers become as common as microwaves. Rent sits around $2,500, yet many pay premium prices for a view that includes a smoking stack. Community wind maps track how fumes travel. Libraries become clean air shelters. People live ordinary lives on an industrial fault line. Here, safe air is never guaranteed. Number 4, Salinas. Salinas feeds the nation, fields of lettuce and produce stretching endlessly. But between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., the city enters its danger zone. Not because of workers, because of youth. Children with no supervised spaces, no structured programs, no safe corners. By early 2025, officials admitted youth violence surged in these hours. Rent, again, hovers around $2,500, too high for farm worker families working 2 jobs. Parents arrive home late and teens roam streets where small conflicts turn big. This is the tragic contrast. A city overflowing with food, where too many kids are starving for safety, structure, and attention. Churches and volunteers now create makeshift, after-school sanctuaries just to keep children indoors during the riskiest hours. In early 2025, Salinas officials revealed something they had been hinting at for years. Youth violence wasn't a spike, it was a pattern. A hidden schedule that unfolded every weekday between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., when thousands of kids were released into neighborhoods with few safe places to go. Parents were still in the fields or commuting back from Monterey. Teens were unsupervised. Streets turned into gray zones. Too early for parents to be home. Too late for teachers to intervene. This wasn't troublemaking. It was boredom meeting opportunity in a city stretched thin. The city's biggest grant proposal to the state included a brutally honest line. We don't need more officers. We need more time with our children. Salinas wasn't asking for helicopters or armored vehicles. It was asking for basketball courts with working lights, for after-school rooms that stayed open past 4, for mentors who weren't exhausted by 2 jobs. But money flows slowly, and danger shows up fast. Rents average around $2,500 a month, an impossible number for households juggling seasonal income. With both parents working long shifts to keep the lights on, teenagers learned to fill the empty hours on their own. Some chose sports. Some chose part-time jobs. Others drifted. And the streets welcomed them. This isn't a story of villains. It's a story of vacancies, not in housing, but in presence. The city did what it could. Churches rolled open their gym doors after dark. Retired farm workers coached pickup games for free. Social workers set up tiny, safe corners in strip malls so kids had a place to simply exist indoors. And still, the pressure builds. Salinas grows the country's vegetables with world-class skill, but it struggles to grow something far more fragile. Safe time for its youth. You can feel the contradiction everywhere. Fields bursting with abundance, yet teenagers starved for attention. Families working to feed the nation, yet unable to protect their own afternoons. Salinas isn't dangerous because of crime alone. It's dangerous because it never slows down, and the people inside, it barely have time to breathe. Number 3, Bakersfield, a city built on oil and running on fumes. Bakersfield sits at the bottom of California like a giant engine, loud, hot, and constantly working. Drive through on a summer afternoon and the horizon looks like it's melting. Oil pumps rock back and forth like tired giants and the freeway hum never stops. It should feel prosperous. It should feel steady. But Bakersfield lives under a double pressure, heat and hardship. By mid-2025, the heat index hit dangerous levels for weeks at a time. Not hot, hostile. Where stepping outside after noon felt like pressing your face against an oven door. This does more than exhaust people. It reshapes daily life. Construction crews shift to dawn schedules. Schools move sports practices indoors. Outdoor workers risk heat stroke by lunchtime. Even pets refuse to walk on the pavement. The sun isn't just bright here. It's a force that edits the city's routine. And then there's the economic grind. Bakersfield's average rent sits around $1,900, which sounds reasonable until you factor in the rising cost of cooling, Air conditioners run like engines and electric bills swallow paychecks. Many families cool only one room at night, everyone, sleeping together under a single fan, not for comfort but survival. The city's long reliance on oil also complicates things. As the industry shrinks, jobs evaporate. Many workers spend months in limbo, too experienced to start over, too young to retire and too broke to leave. Crime doesn't explode here, it just lingers. Petty theft, break-ins, opportunistic hits during heat waves when neighborhoods go dark to save power. The real danger isn't violence, it's weariness. Bakersfield is a place where the heat melts patience, the bills drain energy, and the grind never ends. A city where people wake up already tired. The question becomes, can a city built on burning fuel survive when the world around it keeps getting hotter? Because the next town is not suffering from heat or poverty. It's suffering from something stranger. A slow unraveling of identity itself. Number 2, Palo Alto, where success feels mandatory and happiness feels optional. On the map, Palo Alto is paradise. Tree-lined streets, spotless sidewalks, world-famous schools, and tech campuses that look like futuristic cities. The air feels clean, the lawns are perfect, and the houses glow like magazine covers. But once you live here, you discover the invisible cost. Palo Alto isn't a community, it's a pressure chamber. In 2025, a modest one-bedroom cost $3,200 a month, not because the apartment was luxurious, but because the zip code itself was an asset. Even families making over 6 figures felt the squeeze, choosing between rent, childcare, or simply breathing room. But the real strain isn't financial. It's psychological. Palo Alto has some of the highest academic pressure in the state. Teenagers treat AP classes like survival tools. Middle schoolers plan their resumes. Parents swap tutoring schedules like stock tips. Behind the manicured calm is a silent war against burnout. Ask any local and they'll tell you the same thing. Everything looks perfect until it isn't. The social gap also runs deep. You'll see Teslas parked beside 40-year-old cars whose owners work 3 jobs just to stay close to their workplace. The city feels divided between those who build billion-dollar apps and those who serve coffee to them. Safety? Technically excellent. But emotional safety? A different story. People here don't fear crime. They fear failure. They fear falling behind. They fear being priced out of their own lives. It's the strangest paradox. A city with the highest incomes and one of the lowest senses of ease. So ask yourself, is it really the good life if everyone is exhausted living it? Because the next town, number 1, isn't exhausted. It's overwhelmed, smothered by a crisis no one planned for and no one knows how to stop. Number 1, Los Angeles. A paradise stretched past its breaking point. Los Angeles has always sold a dream. Palm trees, sunsets, movie magic, and the promise that you can reinvent yourself here. And for decades, people believed it. Millions of them. But in 2025, the dream feels different. Not broken. Just heavy. LA is a city where the smallest errand becomes a strategy. Plan for traffic. Plan for parking. Plan for safety. Plan for what happens if the power grid strains again. It's a place where convenience costs money. Safety costs money and time costs money. Rents average $2,700 for a studio, which is insane until you realize that's cheap by local standards. Many Angelenos live stacked in apartments like drawers. 3 roommates, 4 side jobs, 0 breathing room. But the real crisis is the one you can't avoid seeing. Homelessness. Not hidden in corners. Not tucked away in distant suburbs. Right there, along sidewalks, under overpasses, around train stations, throughout Venice, downtown Hollywood, Echo Park. Tens of thousands living without stability, and thousands more slipping toward it every month. LA doesn't feel unsafe because of crime alone. It feels unsafe because you can see how close you are to losing everything. A missed paycheck, a rent hike, a medical bill, a car breaking down. One domino falls and the next thing you know, you're living in the back seat of it. And the weather adds its own layer of unpredictability. Wildfire smoke drifting in from the north, hurricanes brushing the coastline, heat waves turning sidewalks into stovetops. Even the ocean, LA's symbol of peace, rises with storms that grow stronger every year. Los Angeles is still beautiful, still inspiring, still magical, but it's also an overloaded machine running at full throttle, a place where the infrastructure, the services, and the people themselves are stretched thinner than they've ever been. So here's the haunting truth. LA is not the worst place to live because it's dangerous. It's the worst because it makes you fight for every inch of a normal life. And yet, people stay. Because hope is harder to kill than hardship. And dreams once rooted don't leave easily.